Welcome to The Courage to Reconnect. I'm your host, Sarah Monares, therapist, coach, and author. It has always been important to me to create intentional spaces to talk openly about the things so many people quietly carry alone. Because it's in the open that we heal, and it's in the open that we allow ourselves to be fully seen. In this space, we have real conversations about things like relationships, attachment, anxiety, codependency, healing, and the patterns that keep us disconnected from ourselves and the people we care about most. Together, we'll explore what it means to reconnect with yourself, create healthier relationships, and become more fully who you really are, and exit your loop. I'm so glad you're here. Let's get brave and dive in. Have you ever promised yourself you were going to stop overthinking, maybe stop people-pleasing, shutting down, chasing reassurance, learn to calm your anxiety, or start to speak up, only to find yourself right back in the same old patterns all over again? Maybe you've even wondered, why do I keep doing this? Why do relationships feel so hard for me? Why do I keep abandoning myself even when I know better? If this is true for you, I need you to know that you're not alone and that there's a reason these patterns keep repeating. And that's what this podcast is all about. So, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. This has been a long time in the making, and I'm so ready to dive into this information, this learning, this growth with you, because I think it's vital to moving forward differently in a much more fulfilled and connected way. So I'm Sarah Monares. I'm a licensed therapist, coach, and author. And for the last 20 years, I've worked with thousands of people in coaching and therapy and group settings. And during my time with people, I started to notice that there are patterns that many of us go through, and they're very, very similar to each other. The interesting thing is that we go through these similar patterns, but typically we believe that we're alone in these patterns, that we're the only ones struggling. And so it becomes this very private struggle that a lot of people only speak about in therapy or behind closed doors. And one of the things that has come up for me over and over again is if we could all just recognize these patterns and speak openly about them, then it would be so much easier to challenge them and actually be able to change them, but also be able to support one another and connect with each other in these struggles rather than feeling so isolated and alone. So, noticing these patterns is what led me to creating the disconnection loop and the way to exit the loop through what I call the change method. The premise of the disconnection loop is that we disconnect from ourselves to stay connected to others. I asked myself the question as I was creating this loop and the wording and the structure for it. What do I feel is the biggest challenge for humans when it comes to their struggles, when it comes to their pain, their hurts, their worries, the things that they keep secret? And I believe that the biggest cause of pain is disconnection. Not only disconnection from ourselves, that's where it starts, right? But that self-disconnection then leads to the disconnection from the people around us, the people that we love the most, the deep seated feeling that we have to be seen and understood and known and loved and cared for by the people closest to us. However, our own disconnection keeps us from experiencing that. So most people are familiar with disconnection symptoms. Symptoms like people pleasing, overfunctioning, conflict avoidance, anxiety, seeking reassurance outside of yourself, shutting down, losing yourself in relationships, the fear of rejection, hypervigilance. I could go on, but those are the main ones, right? We are well aware of these symptoms because they don't feel good. These are the symptoms that make us almost sick of ourselves, upset with ourselves. We can see them, we can feel them, and they don't feel good. So these symptoms lead to self-judgment, self-doubt, and an overall sense of just not being able to trust yourself. That then ultimately leads to withdrawal and disconnection. So this is the disconnection loop at a very zoomed out view, but a lot of us can see ourselves in this loop. I really believe that most of human struggles come back to this loop. The actual loop starts with a trigger. It then activates our conditioning, the beliefs that we have about ourselves or the world. That leads to igniting fear within us, and then we spiral, right? This is the place of anxiety, spiral, where this is where the most awareness typically kicks in. Then we go to control, which is implementing self-protection strategies, and usually these strategies aren't in our best interests or aren't the healthiest for us. So that leads to then self-judgment and self-doubt, and then withdraw. So this loop is the ultimate disconnection from who we really are, how we really want to show up in the world, and actually, when we're in the loop, showing up as a watered down, fake version of ourselves in order to protect our safety, our belonging, our perceived threat of being rejected by other people if we show up as who we really are. So, a common way that this can happen is, let's say that your partner, you speak up and you say, oh, I didn't like that when that happened, or that kind of hurt my feelings, and your partner pulls away from you. That would be a trigger. And when that is triggered, maybe based on your conditioning, the way you were raised, the way that your parents responded to you when you spoke up, then those beliefs are activated. And then your fear ignites, your fight or flight takes over, and your goal then is to keep yourself safe. I need to keep myself safe. Their withdraw, their pull away activates that I'm not safe in this relationship. I'm not safe within myself. And so then our brain takes over. The role of our unconscious mind is to keep you safe, right? It gets instructions given to it through our conditioning as young children. A lot of times we can't even maybe pinpoint where that conditioning comes from, but it is there. And we will dive deeper into that throughout the coming episodes, leading to things like overthinking, the reassurance seeking, needing to go to your partner. Are we okay? Are you okay? Is anything wrong? Did I do something wrong? And basing whether or not you're okay with whether or not your partner is okay. And so if you initially spoke up and that led to the withdrawal, then what you would likely do is doubt yourself for speaking up and judge yourself. So there's a lot of shame in that self-judgment and self-doubt. And that's really painful. And so, what we want to do then is we want that pain to stop. We want to feel better. And so, we get to the withdraw, which is where we have to separate from ourselves. It's a it's a disconnection between the truest part of you, the real you, the real you that's actually hurt by what your partner did, and the perceived you, the you that you present on the outside. That is often there's a space between the two, right? And so you create this persona or this false self to present, to cope. And in order to do that, you have to withdraw, you have to disconnect. So, a big way that people withdraw and disconnect to feel better in the temporary is different coping skills. And some of those coping skills we see as healthy even at this point, but we're going to revisit some of those coping skills. Some of them are obviously not healthy. Things like turning to substances or doom scrolling on your phone for hours, getting sucked into a TV show that you are binge watching because ultimately you don't want to feel the loop that you know is so uncomfortable, that disconnect of knowing that you're out of alignment with yourself, you're out of alignment with who you are and how you really feel. So, throughout the episodes of this podcast, I'll help you understand the disconnection loop, how it works, how to find yourself in your own loop, and how to exit the loop. And later in the season, you can expect guests to be on the podcast and real accounts and stories of individuals, couples, and how the loop has played out in their lives and in their relationships. So it's really important to know and understand that awareness alone is not enough. A lot of the personal growth content that's out there today, while in a lot of ways it's beautiful to have access to new awareness, new ways of seeing things, being able to challenge old beliefs and old views. That's a really beautiful thing. What it doesn't do is it doesn't tell you how to change, how to move forward differently. Insight is not transformation. Insight is helpful, but also insight with nowhere to go, nowhere to put it, nothing to do can feel really overwhelming. And so I talk to a lot of clients who say that they are really overwhelmed with all of the insight and the knowledge that they have because they know they need to be doing better. They know they want to be doing different. They know they want to be responding differently, but they don't know how. And so we can know our patterns intellectually and we can know how our nervous system responds and gets activated, but we need to have the courage that's required to change. Awareness matters, but awareness alone doesn't change patterns. Change happens when we begin showing up differently. And here in this space, we will take it beyond just awareness and help you find the courage to take the action that's required to reconnect not only with yourself, but in your relationships as well. Throughout the course of this podcast, it's really important to me for you to know that we're going to talk about these patterns, how to reconnect, and really help you understand that you're not alone in these patterns, that these are normal human patterns that most people go through on a daily basis. I think that one thing that happens is there's a lot of talk on social media and podcasts on all of these avenues that we can get information, which is a beautiful thing. Again, I don't want I don't want to discredit that. Um, there's a lot of information, and we're constantly gathering information, seekers of knowledge. But what we don't know or don't do is be able to connect the dots with, okay, I have this information, I have this awareness, and now I'm going to do something with it. So, in the future episodes, we'll be talking about things like attachment, codependency, anxiety, relationships, healing, nervous system response, communication, healthy relationship dynamic, how to deal with conflict is a really big one, and so much more. So today I want to leave you with the hope and the knowing that you can change your patterns. You can exit the loop, and you deserve to be connected with yourself. So I look forward to being on this journey with you and helping you not only have the awareness, but the tools to move forward differently. Thank you for being here with me today on The Courage to Reconnect. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to subscribe, leave a review, or share it with someone who may need it too. You can listen to all of the episodes over on couragepod.com. Remember, change doesn't happen through awareness alone. It happens when we begin showing up for ourselves with curiosity and self-compassion, taking brave action, and practice reconnecting instead of repeating the same old patterns. Until next time, keep finding the courage to show up and stay connected, even when it's uncomfortable. I am cheering you on. This podcast is produced by Loudspeaker, and it is intended for educational and informational purposes only. It is not a substitute for therapy or individualized mental health care. Listening to this podcast does not create a therapeutic relationship with Sarah Monares or any other guests. If you need additional support, I really encourage you, please reach out to a licensed mental health professional in your area or visit findahelpline.com for international information about mental health support near you.
This is Loudspeaker.